Chapter of the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The chapter is titled Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. How many chapters are there in the second canto? 10. So then we are on the last chapter. Sorry, please bear with me. I have a bad cough. So the second canto is mostly quite philosophical. A lot of aspects of creation are discussed. In fact, this chapter also is predominantly about creation. But the first verse actually describes the 10 subject matters of Bhagavatam, where Shukadev Goswami he outlines that Srimad Bhagavatam has 10 subject matters. Does anyone know how many subject matters the Bhagavad Gita has? 5. What are they? Ishwar, Jiva, Prakriti, Kal, and Karma. Very good. 5. Ishwar, the Supreme Lord; Jiva, living entity; Prakriti, material nature, modes of material nature; Kal, time; and Karma, action. So Bhagavatam has 10. What are those 10? Those are described in the first verse of this chapter. So we'll recite that. Before that, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Ashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloki Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So this is the first verse of this final chapter of the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Shri Shuka Vacha Atra Sargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanam Utaya Manvantareshu Ishanu Katha Nirodho Muktirashraya. Shri Shukovacha Atra Sargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanam Utaya Manvantareshu Ishanu Katha Nirodho Muktirashraya. Shri Shukovacha Atra Sargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanam Utaya Manvantareshu Ishanu Katha Nirodho Muktirashraya. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 10 divisions of statements regarding the following. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, these 10 things are described. The creation of the universe, sub-creation, planetary systems, protection by the Lord, the creative impetus, the change of Manus, the signs of God, returning home back to Godhead, liberation, and the Samam Bodham. So, these 10 subject matters are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, what are these 10? Like, it's written here, but Sarga, the first one, Sarga Visargascha. Sarga means elementary creation of the 16 elements. Because we've discussed several times in this canto, which kind of creator is Lord Brahma? He's the secondary creator. Right? So, this Visarga, that is overseen by Lord Brahma. But Sarga, the elements by which Brahma is creating, that is created by Krishna. Right? So, the elementary creation of the 16 items of matter, that is created by Lord Krishna. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, 5 Then the five sense objects, five knowledge acquiring senses, five working senses, mind. These are created by uh, the Lord. And then, based on these and the interaction of the modes of material nature, Brahma creates everything else, which is called as Visarga. If you remember, we had that test, we had taken that quiz long time ago. It seems long time ago. It was few chapters ago, but it seems long time ago because we had a yatra and then we had so many things. Festivals come, we have different topics. But in that, we had discussed 26 elements of creation. So those, a portion of that, that is Sarga. Those are created by the Supreme Lord, Krishna himself. Then Sthanam. Sthanam means the right situation for the living entities. What does it mean, right situation for the living entities? Those activities of the living entities which will situate them rightly in this material world. You can think, what does it mean to be rightly situated in the material world? Think, what does it mean to be for a living entity to be rightly situated in the material world? Means what? To perform devotional service. What else? That's the highest. What else? To be in the predominantly in the mode of goodness and then elevate ourselves to pure goodness. What else? That's it. What else? According to karma, we don't have an option. वो तो होने ही वाला है. वो तो चलते रहेगा. Karma, everything will, except for our devotional service, everything else which is happening according to our karma. It is we who think we are doing it, but actually karma is coming. What else? Yes. All that comes in the 9 processes of devotional service. What about our karma? Well, he's in a mode of goodness में रहना चाहिए. What else? Sorry? वो 9 processes of devotional service. It all comes in that. हम सब टॉपमोस्ट आंसर दे रहे हैं, पर वहां तक पहुंचने के लिए और भी होगा ना. Okay, good. To follow varnashram. What else? We don't think of these things, so कुछ आ नहीं रहा है. What does it mean to be rightly situated? So, devotional service, mode of goodness. Assuming that we are in the human life, then what? So, one important, हाँ आप क्या बोल रहे हो? To follow 4 regulative principles. ये सब चीज कहाँ से आती है? Scriptures. Who said scriptures? Someone said scriptures. So following the order of the Lord given in the scriptures. When a devotee or when a living entity follows the order of the Lord given in the scriptures, he is rightly situated. So in Bhagavatam, every now and then this is described through pastimes of how somebody is not rightly situated and how somebody became rightly situated or how somebody is already rightly situated. In the next canto, third canto of Bhagavatam, we will read the pastime of Kardamba Muni. Kardamba Muni, how he was perfectly situated in Krishna consciousness, and Swayambhuv Manu, how he was enacting his responsibilities in a perfect way, and of Devahuti, of how she was in that mood to properly conduct herself. So this is Sthanam, rightly situated. So when we think of ourselves, when we follow the rules and regulations of Shastra, when we perform 9 processes of devotional service, we are rightly situated in this world. Anytime we are not doing these things, we are not rightly situated. So if you are not rightly situated, then good things will not happen to us. Yes? So this is described in Bhagavatam. Then Poshanam, maintenance. How the Lord maintains every living entity. Whether the living entity is an atheist or a theist, the Lord is maintaining everybody. One of the 6 processes of surrender is Goptritve Varanam Tatha. Goptritve Varanam Tatha means I have full faith that Krishna will maintain me. Not that Krishna is maintaining. Krishna, I have full faith Krishna will maintain me. He is maintaining me, he'll maintain me in the future also. He was maintaining me when I was in the womb of my mother also. So Poshanam. Poshanam, maintenance. Done by the Supreme Lord. Not by our boss. Not by our savings. Not by our intelligence. By Krishna. Krishna. Even our karma. To get it, we need the sanction of Krishna. Otherwise, we'll not get it. So, Poshanam, maintenance. Then Manvantara, the different reigns of Manu, the different reigns of the different uh, people who are in charge of creation. A lot of some chapters of Bhagavatam describe that. Then Uti, impetus for activity. What makes people perform activity? Uti. Then Ishanu Katha. Ishanu Katha is translated here as the science of God. Prabhupada translates as science of God to show that God exists is a scientific fact. It's not a matter of faith. Are you able to understand? मैं भगवान में विश्वास करता हूं versus obviously भगवान में विश्वास करना, it is so obvious that God is there. There are two different things. Because वो मेरा विश्वास है. मेरा विश्वास may not be right. अभी मेरा my faith versus reality. So Ishanu Katha, it is a reality that the Lord exists. And Ishanu Katha, the pastimes of the Lord, the instructions of the Lord, those are described in Bhagavatam. So that's Ishanu Katha as a fact. As a fact. It's a fact that God exists. In fact, it would be my lack of faith to believe that God doesn't exist. That kind of proof is there in the scripture regarding God. Then the eighth aspect is Nirodha. Every now and then, when creation is wound up, how does that take place? How does destruction take place? How does creation again take place? That is described in Bhagavatam. Then Mukti, liberation. How to get out of the cycle of birth and death. That is obviously described in Bhagavatam. And Ashray, the shelter of the Lord. How every now and then, through so many pastimes, it is shown that devotees are taking shelter of Krishna, and how we can also take shelter of Krishna. So these are the 10 subject matters of Bhagavatam. What was the first one? Sarga means primary creation. Very good. Second, Visarga means secondary. Now, uske aage? Sthanam. Very good. What? Sthanam means rightly situated. Rightly situated. Living entity rightly situated. Fourth, Poshanam means maintenance. Fifth, Manvantara, the different reigns of Manu. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sixth, Uti. Uti means impetus. Seventh, Ishanu Katha. Ishanu Katha, which is the science of God. The science of God. Then Nirodha means winding up. It should be easy. 9, Mukti, liberation. And 10, Ashray, take shelter of the Lord. Now is the time that they will give garland to me. Today, Hriday Agya Prabhu and Bhaskar Murthy Prabhu are not there, and our BYC devotee office Sunil is not there. So everything is happening 15 minutes behind schedule. Thank you. So these are described, and in this chapter, in this 10th chapter, the final chapter of the second canto, Sarga and Visarga, primary creation and secondary creation, are described in detail. So I will just quickly go through those things because that is, none of you have read it, I guess. So, and we've covered this in detail when we had done that whole thing on creation and we had done that test. So, in this chapter, actually, this process of creation is described in a different way. It is described in the way of the Lord's Vishwarup and showing how every aspect of creation is there because the Lord first used it. The Lord first desired it. The Lord first enabled it, and therefore it is there. So, Sarga. So, for example, in the 17th verse, it is written, when the Lord desired to eat and drink, the tongue, this organ tongue was developed. When the Lord desired to speak, voice was developed. Desired to smell, nose was developed. Desire to see, eyes were developed. Desire to understand, ears were developed. So this shows to understand something, hearing is required. That's why 2 ears, one mouth. 2 eyes, 2 ears, one mouth. Talk less, read more, hear more. To experience, skin was developed. To perform activities, hands were developed. To move, legs were developed. 25th verse. 28th verse, to change bodies, navel was developed. Because your umbilical cord is connected through the navel with your mother. And also, at the time the soul leaves, many times for many people, the soul leaves from the lower part of the body. So, many times from the navel. To consume food, abdomen was created. To contemplate, something we don't really do much. We don't reflect, we don't introspect, we don't contemplate. Heart was developed. Then after that, it is the seven dhatus were developed. Does anyone know seven dhatus? The layers of the skin, then flesh, blood, bones, and what is it? And bone marrow, and ikora. Semen, maybe semen. Shantivardhan Prabhu semen. These are the seven sapta dhatus, seven dhatus, and then the objects of the senses were created. Like eyes के लिए sight, nose के लिए power of smell, like that. So this is sarga, which is described here, verse after verse is described. And then from verses 36 to 47, visarga is described. Visarga, secondary creation. So when visarga is described in the Bhagavatam, in this chapter, it is described how Mahavishnu came. And Mahavishnu came, and where is Mahavishnu lying? Causal ocean. He's lying in the causal ocean. And what happens when he breathes out? Universes emanate from his pores. How many? Millions and millions and millions of universes. And when he breathes in, huh? What happens to these universes? Where do they go? They go back again inside his pore. Annihilation. कहाँ गए? अंदर गए. Annihilation. And then within each universe, there is a which Vishnu? Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's navel, Brahma appears. So this is described in these verses. And then it is described how Brahma uh, does the creation, how destruction takes place, Lord Shiva, and then how with the interaction of the modes of nature, Brahma creates everything. So that is Visarga. Now it is interesting to know that what is Brahma's lifespan? 100 years. Brahma, from Brahma's perspective, he lives for 100 years. Now, one day of Brahma is in our time cycle, how many years? The four yugas, Satyug, Dwapar, Treta, Kali. What is the total of the four yugas? 43 lakhs. 4 lakh 30,000 is Satyug, is Kalyug. Double 8 lakh 40 is Dwapar. So that is 12 something 13. Then 12 that is Treta. And then 17 something is Satyug. You add all that, that comes to 43 lakh something. That is one Mahayug. Now, one Mahayug, there's a test after this. And we've perfected the technology where the coupons come out for those who pass the test. So please pay attention. वो सब वो जो था ना hands like वो सब भी है वो test में. Yeah. I mean, when I was coming down, I was coming from the office here. I saw at least 6 people of this class eating prasad before the class. How was the Frankie? Someone eating Frankie, someone eating pav bhaji, someone was eating some bada pav. So they are not tensed. फेल हो गए तो कोई बात नहीं. प्रसाद ले लिया. बाकी लोग you pay attention. And she though anyway pays attention. It's okay. So one Mahayug and 1,000 Mahayugs. Matlab 1,000 into 43 lakh, whatever that is. That is 12 hours of Brahma. So after 12 hours of Brahma, Brahma goes to sleep. And when Brahma goes to sleep, there's partial annihilation. What does it mean by partial annihilation? हम आधे annihilate हो जाते हैं और only hands, upper body is left, your lower body is left. Half of the planet is destroyed, half is left. Northern hemisphere is destroyed, southern hemisphere is left. Partial annihilation means up to Brahmalok. Up to Brahmalok, everything below Brahmalok is destroyed. Everything below Brahmalok is destroyed. And then for the next 12 hours of Brahma, which is how many years? Calculation? 43 lakhs into 1000. What is that? 43 lakhs? 4 yuga, 1 Mahayuga, which is what? Sum of the 4 yugas. Right? And that into 1000, that is 12 hours of Brahma. So the Brahma's day and night is equal. So वो balance 12 hours means 43 lakh into 1000. कितना होता है? Someone? Anyone? No one is even trying. सब अपना phone खोल रहे हैं. 43 billion? देखो. It's not that difficult. You take 43 lakhs and you add 3 zeros. उसके आगे आगे बढ़ाओ. But we don't want to try that also. सीधा calculator. कितना होता है? Now we are not even good at deciphering the number which the calculator has shown. कितना होता है ये? 100, 1000, lakhs. That is to his full life. But that won't work, no? Because that's 1 day, then that's 30 days, and then it's 100. That's not 1 year, that's 1 day. Should I do? कितना होता है? Ah, very good. 4 billion, 300 million something. 4 billion, 4.3 billion. 4.3 billion. So you imagine, for 4.3 billion years, there is nothing going on. And then for 4.3 billion years, there's something going on. And that's just Brahma's 1 day, 24 hours. ऐसे ब्रह्मा का 30 दिन होता है महीने में, 12 महीने होते हैं और 100 साल जीता है वो. अभी सोचो उसके हिसाब से what is our 70-80 years? Does it have any significance? From a material perspective, does it have any significance? There's a calculation also that Brahma's 1 second, 1 second, अभी ये तो उसका एक दिन हो गया ना, 1 second is some 96,000 years. 1 second. You just compare Brahma's 1 second to our life. It has no significance. They say ये सब छोड़ो, just chant Hare Krishna, do kirtan, ये सब calculation ऊपर से जाएगा. But the point is that we should not really be making long-term plans also for our material life in this life. वो ब्रह्मा का एक mini micro second जितना है, उतना भी नहीं है. So who is going to talk about our life apart from us? And when we are gone, maybe couple of years, 10 years, 20 years, maximum till our children are born, they may talk about us sometimes. Those of you whose parents have passed away, how much do we remember them now versus how when they were present? Every day we used to interact with them. My mother passed away. How much do I remember her now on the same level as when she was there, when every day I was interacting? Not that much. If you've kept a photograph, then whenever you look, you see on certain times of the day, maybe you remember, but not to that intensity as when they were there. Right? And when I pass away, who's going to remember her? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. So what was the use? Unless you, I mean, this is only talking about not for devotee, only from a material perspective. What's the use? Nobody cares, even if you are the biggest industrialist or the biggest sports person or the biggest business mind or the biggest inventor. Nobody it's insignificant. Our life is insignificant. And therefore, Bhagavatam has these 10 subject matters. Let us focus on this. Let us focus on our Krishna consciousness. That is eternal. That the acharyas and the demigods also are glorifying. That look at these people. They are serving Krishna. They are serving our master. Baki sab cheez is the use of it. It's insignificant. So that these numbers are thrown every now and then to make us realize that. बाकी तो क्या क्या है मतलब फर्क क्या पड़ता है ब्रह्मा का जितना भी लाइफ हो ये फर्क पड़ता है उसको अगर हम हमारे लाइफ के रेलेवेंस में देखें इट्स नॉट एट ऑल रेलेवेंट our life is not at all relevant to Brahma. 1 microsecond, who was born, who died, who cares if you're Brahma or if you're the demigods. Demigods also. Our 6 months is there one day. 12 hours. That 12 hours is our 6 months. So our life is what for them? Few days. So let us not be so calculative about our future plans or our material targets. If they are getting achieved without extra endeavor, great. But there's no need to put extra endeavor in there. Extra endeavor means you put your 8-10 hours towards your material job or whatever you are doing, that should be good enough. Beyond that, and more than that time, it is to keep it here. This is my plan, that is my plan. If it's material, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. So, not to waste time with that. Then, after this whole Sarga Visarga is described in 43 verses. Then, the 44th verse, Sutta Goswami says something very interesting, and that's basically what we will focus on. We'll recite. Itham bhavena katito Bhagavan Bhagavattama Netham bhavena hi param Drashtum arhanti suraya. The great transcendentalist does describe the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the pure devotees deserve to see more glorious things in transcendence beyond these features. Creation, ये सर्ग विसर्ग ये सब तो ठीक है भगवान ने किया है. But the pure devotees are not really interested in this. Because this just establishes the greatness of the Lord. In the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, the Yogam Aishwaryam, that all these things I have created, they are just incidental. Athava bhaunaitina kim gyatvena tavarjuna vistibraham idam Krishna ekam sena sthito jagat. This is just ekam sena, one minute aspect of my energies. This whole creation. One minute aspect. It's like you go to some big person's house and it's a palatial house and you're like, wow, मेरा पूरा घर तो इसके bathroom के size का. We had gone once in Hyderabad to in one rich lady's home for Kirtan, and literally her bathroom was the size of my home. And we had, so even Gopal had come. So when he wanted to pee, we took him there and like, wow, क्या bathroom hai. And now that fellow turns around and says, हाँ ये तो मेरा outhouse है, तो मेरा छोटा घर है. And it actually like that. जिसमें हमने प्रोग्राम किया था ना वो उनका आउटहाउस था. उनका घर उसके पीछे था. And so you will think that this person is great, he's so wealthy that उसका आउटहाउस इतना है जिसका बाथरूम हमारे घर का साइज है और मेरा 2 BHK है. I don't live in a one room, I live in a 2 BHK and my 2 BHK is the size of their bathroom. And so you imagine how big is that house, and that house is their outhouse. So उनका घर कितना, that is one of their homes. So it is like that here. Krishna is saying, Ekam stena sthito jagat. This entire material creation is one minute aspect of my energy. How great is Krishna? But here Sukadev Goswami is saying, the pure devotees deserve to hear even more than this. Because all this for them is no big harm. They accept Krishna Supreme Lord. Therefore, why does Krishna mainly appear? To reciprocate with the devotees, to perform pastimes, to attract us, to go back to the spiritual world. ये material world, ये सब इतना सब कुछ नहीं है. You come to the spiritual world. That's where actual anand is there. Bliss is in the spiritual world, not here. So therefore, he's saying all this will appeal to certain transcendentalists. But to the pure devotees, they want to hear more. They want to hear more. It's basically this verse leads to the third canto. Leads to the third canto of Bhagavatam, where the pastime of Varahadev is described, and the pastime of Kapila Dev is described, and then it goes on like that. So if we think about it, the famous verse in the Bhagavad Gita, which we all know, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna comes millennium after millennium to do these three things: protect the devotees, annihilate the miscreants, and re-establish dharma. Dharma samsthapanarthaya, re-establish dharma, sambhavami yuge yuge. But the acharyas say actually these are not the three main reasons why Krishna comes. Krishna comes for a fourth reason, and that's the main reason, and that is to perform his pastimes, to show how he reciprocates with everybody, because that will show that he is reciprocating with us also. It's a matter of us understanding that Krishna is reciprocating with us. Like we see in the pastime of the Lord, Krishna is carrying on his head the footwear of Nand Baba. Who is Krishna? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is carrying the chappal of his father. The same personality who, whenever Krishna appears, that personality appears as Nand Baba. So Krishna is willing to do that, to reciprocate. Then Mother Yashoda, so many sweet pastimes. This is actually one of my most favorite paintings. This one of Krishna sitting like this with on Yashoda's lap, because both of them are looking, and it's very obvious that it's just a transcendental relationship between Mother Yashoda and Lord Krishna. So Krishna is getting tied up by Mother Yashoda. Krishna is tricking Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda is scolding Krishna. Next second, Mother Yashoda is again loving Krishna, and she's only thinking about Krishna. And Krishna is also reciprocating with her in that way. So the Lord comes to show us these pastimes. Then to show us the pastimes of how the devotees are so dependent on the Lord in this Aghasur Lila. The coward boys thought that, hey, wait a minute, this cave was not present yesterday. आज कहां से केव आ गया? केव ऐसे ओवरनाइट नहीं आता है. साइंस takes millions and millions and millions of years, and then वो होता है. ओवरनाइट कहां से आ गया? समझ आ गया. I don't think this is a cave. Obviously ओवरनाइट तो कुछ आता नहीं है, और ये आगे का सरफेस थोड़ा स्लिपरी है, थोड़ा सॉफ्ट है, कुछ चीजें टपक रही है ऊपर से. This may be the mouth of a snake, but it was so big that they couldn't see. The upper part of the mouth of the snake was not visible. It was so big. Somebody else said, and Krishna is standing on the top listening. Somebody else said, हाँ ठीक है ना, स्नेक भी है तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है, कृष्णा है ना इधर, लेट्स गो. क्या होगा मैक्सिमम, मालूम पड़ेगा स्नेक है ना, कृष्णा will protect us, Krishna will take care of us, no tension, let's go. And then all of them said yes, 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 let's go. And then everyone rushes in. Hey, great, let's see if it's a cave or a snake. जो भी है मजा आएगा. And our acharyas write that Krishna is standing there and he's thinking, look at the faith that they have on me. And they are not in anxiety, and Krishna is tightening his belt thinking kuch karna padega abhi, I better get into action. So for the creation, Krishna is not at all bothered. It's going on autopilot. अभी सत्युग है, अभी नेक्स्ट वापस पार्शियल अनाइलेशन हुआ, ब्रह्मा को सुलाना है, पूरा वो सत्युग तक सत्यलोक तक अनाइलेशन हो गया, ये सब. That Krishna doesn't even give a second thought to. Autopilot पे हो रहा है. But these few cowherd boys going into the mouth of Aghasur, Acharyas write, Krishna became anxious. Why? Because they are fully dependent on me. Poshanam. They are fully dependent that Krishna is the only maintainer. They have that full faith. And so we get to see from these pastimes that the Lord takes personal interest in the life of a devotee. He will not at all be bothered, about that person who has 20 houses, who are palatial, or somebody who has so much wealth that oh, Narasimhadev ka hai na, 21 generations. This guy has so much wealth, 21 generations don't have to work. Krishna is least bothered about that. But one simple devotee has so much faith and is getting in a dangerous situation, and the Lord takes anxiety for that. Then which Leela is the one next to it? Dhenukasur. Dhenukasur. So Krishna is having fun tossing donkeys around. Lord has fun also. Lord enjoys. Krishna enjoys. Krishna. Akarshati iti Krishna. One who attracts is Krishna. So Krishna is enjoying. And with Krishna, the coward boys are enjoying. Hey, very good. ये donkey वहां तक भेजा. Next वाले को और दूर भेजो. And they're enjoying. So Krishna comes to show us that you can enjoy in this world. Just the subject matter of your enjoyment is wrong. It should not be material, it should be Krishna conscious. And then get the hell out of here and then full enjoyment in the spiritual world. And we see other pastimes. What's happening here? On the left, Krishna is convincing Nand Baba. You see behind, that is Govardhan. But what did Nand Baba want to do? Indra Yagya. Indra Yagya. And Krishna convinced him. What philosophy did Krishna speak to convince Nand Baba not to do Indra Yagya? Karma Mimamsa philosophy. Karma Mimamsa philosophy is an atheistic philosophy which says सब कुछ कर्म के हिसाब से होने ही वाला है, तो किसी को वर्शिप करने की या यज्ञ करने की आवश्यकता ही नहीं है, आपके कर्म में है तो आएगा. And then he tells that rain comes on the ocean also. Rain water is falling on the ocean. Where which fish did yagya to Indra? पानी मिल रहा है ना उनको. Rain is falling on the mountains where it is not required. वहां भी बारिश गिर रहा है. Why you want to do for Indra? So karma mamsa philosophy. And Krishna is convincing, and if you see this person on the right holding his hand, he's like, this is going to lead us to trouble. No, he's like, नंद बाबा भी सुन रहे हैं, ये कावड़ बॉयज भी सुन रहे हैं, पीछे गोपीज भी सुन रहे हैं, सब बोल रहे हैं हाँ हाँ हाँ, छोड़ो इंद्र का यज्ञ क्यों करना है, हम गोवर्धन को करेंगे. दिस फेलो लाइक प्रॉब्लम आने वाला है, अभी मत सुनो इसकी बात. पर मैं क्या बोलूं, नंद बाबा इज द किंग, वो मान रहे हैं तो. Then we see Govardhan Leela also showed for 7 days and 7 nights, everybody was just looking at Krishna. Everybody was just having that one-on-one relationship with Krishna, which was not possible otherwise, because Krishna would go home and Krishna would go to the forest and Krishna would go to the pasturing grounds. And so everyone had their limited time. But for 7 days, 7 nights, everyone was looking at Krishna. And you have certain those our frames, rather as very frames, which from whatever angle you see, the Lord is looking at you only. If the person who took the photograph took it at the eye angle of the Lord, then wherever you turn, you will see the Lord is looking at you. In Govardhan Leela, it was like that. कोई पीछे खड़ा है उसको लग रहा है कृष्णा मुझे ही देख रहे हैं, कोई साइड में खड़ा है उसको लग रहा है कृष्णा लेफ्ट में टर्न करके मुझे ही देख रहे हैं, कोई राइट में उसको लग रहा है कृष्णा मुझे ही देख, कृष्णा looking at everybody. And that is there. Then whenever Krishna would go to the pasturing grounds, all the gopis would be thinking, oh, Krishna is going now, for the next 6 hours we will be separated from him, and they're feeling separation. While all the coward boys are thinking, yes, great, now next 6 hours we'll be with Krishna, we'll get to play. And all the cows are thinking they are also going to be seeing Krishna. Then the Brahma Vimohan Leela, when Krishna expanded into all the cows and all the calves and all the coward boys, and how for that 1 year all the cows and all the cowherds, they developed extra affection for their children, for their calves or for their children. Suddenly मुझे इतना प्यार क्यों आ रहा है? We rarely feel that for our children. But that is because it was Krishna. It was Krishna. So, more than any family member also, who may have also given us so much affection, the Lord is only capable of giving us the highest affection. The Srila Prabhupada in the 7th verse of the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Karpanya Dosho, In that, Prabhupada says, material perplexities are bewildering everybody, and the reason is the skin disease. Prabhupada used the word skin disease. Skin disease means me and mine, me and mine, me and mine. Every disappointment in life comes to because of me and mine. Whereas Krishna is ready to give the highest affection to us. What is that? Suridam Sarva Bhutanam. Friend, best friend. Nobody greater than Krishna to reciprocate. So Krishna comes to show us these things. Playing the flute, nothing more beautiful sound for the Vrindavan residents than Krishna's flute. Then Krishna's pastime with the gopis, his pastime with Srimati Radharani, showing that one pointed affection that the gopis had for Krishna. Then Krishna's reciprocation with his friend Arjun and with with Vidur. No, what's his name? Sudama. Vidur and Uddhav will come in the next chapter, first chapter of the third canto. But with Sudama, his unbelievable reciprocation, where Sudama begged, and Krishna is thinking he begged chipped rice and brought. What can I give him? I cannot beg. Everything is mine. मैं कहाँ से भीख मांगू? सब कुछ मेरा है. Who do I beg from? I own everything. Even though you think that property belongs to you or the car belongs to you or the account में आपका नाम है, everything is Krishna's. मैं कहाँ से भीख मांगू? I'll give myself. I'll give myself to Sudama. And when Arjuna's most crisis moment of life, Krishna spoke what? Bhagavad Gita. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna and protected him, guided him, shielded him, made him victorious, made him an instrument. So all these pastimes, the Lord comes to perform all these pastimes. From these pastimes, we learn that Krishna reciprocates with devotees. What do we learn? Krishna reciprocates with the devotees. So the question that is then raised is Krishna reciprocating with me? We ask that question, is Krishna reciprocating with me? There's a very nice verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is, if you've, how many of you have at least started reading Chaitanya Charitamrita? 2 people, 4 people, 4, 5 people. That doesn't hold all of you in very good standing. You should. How many of you have Chaitanya Charitamrita at home? 10 people. Better than, at least the other 5 are good that you have Chaitanya Charitamrita at home. Please get a set of Bhagavatam, get a set of Bhagavad Gita. Hai ki nahi? Get a set of Srila Prabhupada's books and keep them in your home. Don't just rely on this Veda base and Gita base. Keep these, the physical copies of these books, keep them at home and then read them. So Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you notice, the 5 of you, every chapter, the first verse of every chapter is a prayer by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Every chapter, first verse is a Sanskrit prayer where Kaviraj Goswami glorifies Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in different ways. And every chapter, last verse ends with Kaviraj Goswami offering obeisances to Rup and Sanatana. Shri Rup Raghunath Padejaras Chaitanya Charitamrit Kahe Krishnadas. Praying to Rup Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami, I, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, narrate Chaitanya Charitamrit following in their footsteps. So in the 14th chapter of Adi Leela, Kaviraj Goswami has a very, very nice prayer, which actually all of you can memorize. The next class which we have, not next Saturday, we are in Jaipur, the class after, we'll give you this also as a lamination. Can repeat? Kathanchana smiteryasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam syat Shri Chaitanya namami tvam Kathanchana smiteryasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet Vismrite viparitam syat Shri Chaitanya namami tvam Kathanchana smiteryasmin दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्य नमामि त्वम्. Someone like to repeat? Yes. Mataji. विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्य नमामि त्वम्. Okay. Things that are very difficult to do become easy to execute if one somehow or other remembers Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Things kathanchana smriter yasmin, somehow or the other, when we remember smriter, when we remember Lord Chaitanya, duskaram sukaram. Duskaram means difficult things. Sukaram means become easy. Duskaram sukaram bhave. Vismrite viparitam syat. But if we forget, but if one does not remember him, even easy things become difficult. Viparitam. Even easy things become difficult. Sri Chaitanya Namami Tvam. To this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I offer my respectful obeisances. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is basically saying that in everything we do in life, we should remember Lord Chaitanya. We should remember Lord Krishna. And everything when we don't do, we should consider, hey, kya ho gaya? What kind of a day was this? I hardly remembered the Lord today. And that dependence on the Lord, that mood we should cultivate. Krishna comes, he performs all these pastimes, he reciprocates with the devotees. I should see how Krishna is reciprocating with me also. And one way to do that is to always remember the Lord in every activity. Kathanchana smriti, somehow or the other, we remember Lord Chaitanya. Duskaram sukaram bhave. Difficult things also become easy. Vismrite, you forget, viparitam sat, opposite. Easy things are unfortunate. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Prabhupada's pastimes, there are so many such cases of miracles happening. The devotees mention that after a while, we expected miracles to happen. It was not miraculous anymore. इससे भी ज्यादा हुआ है, नॉर्मल है. क्या नॉर्मल है? वो जॉर्ज हैरिसन ने दे दिया डोनेशन भगवत गीता कृष्णा बुक प्रिंट करने के लिए. हाँ, तो कौन सी बड़ी बात है? Now if like who's like the topmost singer now? Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift? Taylor Swift. Or in Bollywood, अरिजीत सिंह. तो सोचो कि नेक्स्ट मैराथन का पूरा 20 लाख भगवत गीता प्रिंट करने का ये this अरिजीत सिंह gives a donation. Or whoever is the topmost Bollywood stars or Virat Kohli, they give this huge donation. People are like, oh, wow, yaar, that's amazing. At that time, the devotees think, it's normal. तो करना ही है, तो normal है. Once when Shyam Sundar Prabhu writes that in San Francisco, they didn't have money to pay the next month's rent in 1967. And it was just one day, next day वो evict कर देगा. And it was some, I don't know how much, hundreds of dollars. And when he was walking in anxiety on the street, going from Prabhupada's house to where the temple was, he suddenly saw on the street at 6 in the morning, nobody on the street, and $100 notes were flying in the sky. And he started grabbing them. And then he counted, jitna rent chahiye tha, utna hi hai. And he was like, we will think, wow. He was like, normal. Lord's temple rent नहीं है, who has to arrange? We are trying, नहीं हो रहा, Lord has to arrange ना. हमारे साथ वो भी evict हो जाएंगे नहीं तो. The deities will also get evicted along with us if the rent is not paid. Krishna will arrange. That doesn't mean that they would just sit and do nothing. They would do everything, and then I'm doing everything. Krishna will arrange. Sham Sundar again. He didn't want to ask George Harrison for that money. Prabhupada said, no, you go and ask. Very sheepishly he asked. And then we know what happened. Lightning, thunder, 15 seconds blackout, and then light came, and George Harrison was smiling and saying, after that, how can I refuse? Obviously, Lord, as you asked me, I need $19,000 to print Krishna book. I became disappointed. The light went out, thundering came, lightning came, the light came on. How can I say no now? And that disappointed George Harrison had a huge smile on his face. And they were expecting these things. Somehow or the other, we remember Lord Chaitanya, difficult things become easy. This Macmillan Bhagavad Gita, how it was printed, that whole story Brahmananda Prabhu narrates. Miracles, what? Miracles which are the mercy of the Lord. So it's not the miracle, it's a mercy of the Lord. Now, these exceptional things may not happen in our life, but there are definitely small things happening in our life which clearly are the hand of the Lord. Nobody is this kind of magic may also happen in our life. It all depends on how much we make ourselves capable. But small things are happening in our life also. Right? So Krishna doesn't just reciprocate with Arjuna or with Sudama. Sudama. He reciprocates everyone. It's like Bhim. When Bhim wanted to learn music, and he was learning music, everyone was thinking, Bhim kahan se music sikhega? What is? There's no scope for Bhim to learn music. But nobody wanted to tell Bhim because Bhim कुछ लगा देगा, कुछ हो जाएगा. And Bhim chose the center of the palace to do his music rehearsal. And that was irritating everyone even more. And no one was telling him anything. Then one day, one goat herdsman came there. And when he came there, he saw Bhim and he said, oh, sorry. He said, why did you come here? He said, no, nothing. He said, tell me. I cannot tell you. Tell me, otherwise. He said, actually, one of my goats was missing, and I heard some noise which sounded like the goat's noise, so I came here, but it was actually you singing. Then Bhim decided, chalo, ye sab kuch scope nahi hai isme. Then Yudhishthir Maharaj, then Bhim was very disappointed. And I wanted to learn singing to please the Lord, but nahi ho raha hai. So he was just sitting dejected in his room. And then Yudhishthir Maharaj came. And Yudhishthir Maharaj told him, okay, please go and get Krishna. I want to talk to Krishna. You please call him. Send him my message. Go to Dwarka, send him my message. So Bhim said, okay, चलो कुछ तो मेरा यूज होगा भगवान की सेवा में, ये तो मैं कर सकता हूँ. So then he said, okay, द्वारका जाने में इतना टाइम लगेगा, अभी मेरे पास थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा टाइम है, I'll take some prasad. And then Bhim said, I'll rest for some time, I'll get up, I'll go to Dwarka and I'll do it. And then Bhim overslept. When he got up, he realized, oh God, ये भी नहीं हो पाया मेरे से. I couldn't sing for the Lord, वो तो hopeless हो गया. I couldn't even, go on time to Dwarka to give the message. And then Bhim started crying. And he was like saying that, Lord, what is this? You only hear the prayers of Draupadi. You only hear the prayers of Arjun. What is this? I'm becoming useless. And then a knock came that you Maharaj is calling you. He thought, chalo. A day when it starts bad, sometimes it goes worst, and you think, I'm just waiting this day gets over. Aaj kuch to galat ho gaya. So that was like that kind of a day for Bhim. And then he tells the messenger, yeah, please tell Maharaj that I forgot to go to Dwarka. And again, Maharaj is calling you. Minister is going to scold me today. Right? Arey Bhim, you said Krishna has come. Krishna has come. But I never went to call Krishna. No, but Krishna is saying you only called him. I never went. So then Krishna tells Bhim, Bhaiya Bhim, I didn't say you came to call me, but I said you called me. And so I've come. And then he tells Bhim that, I may not have reciprocated with you to the extent or to that level where I reciprocated with Arjun or with Draupadi, but I am reciprocating with you. I am reciprocating with you. That talent is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the devotion. And when you are crying like that what use am I, Lord? What is this? I can't even do this nicely. That I accepted. So I'm here. So we can also think that there are so many ways in which Krishna has reciprocated with us. And when we think like that, it leads us to what kind of an emotion, what kind of a feeling comes in our heart when we think that yes, Krishna reciprocated with me like this, he reciprocated with me like that, he did this, he was instrumental for that. What kind of a feeling towards Krishna will come? Gratitude, right? Grateful. We feel grateful to the Lord. So we may not have these things happening in our life, but we can still think of ways in which we are grateful to Krishna. We don't have to try and be great, try and manufacture things. There are so many things happening by which we should feel gratitude to the Lord. And if we don't, then what happens is it's actually we are being very selfish. There is this pastime of Bhomasur. Bhomasur had kidnapped the 16,000 wives who became wives of Krishna. He also attacked heaven and he stole Mother Aditi's ring. So Indra came to Krishna begging, pleading, please do something, please help me. Indra bowed down to Krishna. He offered obeisances, he offered pranams, he folded his hands, he offered a prayer, he glorified Krishna, he offered another prayer, and then he told Krishna his problem. So Krishna said, okay, don't worry, I will do. So Krishna went, he defeated Bhomasur, he took Mother Aditi's ring, and then Krishna took Satyabhama to Indra's abode in heaven and presented that ring to Indra. Indra was very happy. Aditi was very happy. They paid obeisances. Indra paid obeisances. Again glorified Krishna. कुछ मिला, कुछ प्रॉब्लम था, कृष्णा के पास गए, कृष्णा को ग्लोरीफाई किया, ओबेसेंसेस पे किया, हाँ हाँ भगवान आप, मैं समझ गया हूँ आप ही सब कुछ है, देयर इज नथिंग बियॉन्ड यू, वो सब माया है, कुछ मिला, भगवान आप ही सब कुछ है, आपके बिना तो कुछ होगा नहीं, मैं कहा मैं यूजलेस, आप ही सब कुछ है, ग्रेट, अभी हो गया. After that, when Krishna was leaving, then Satyabhama saw the Parijat tree and she became very attracted. So Krishna said, ah, no problem, chalo le lete hain. And he plucked the whole tree out. And Indra saw that. Indra said, "Hey, ऐसे कैसे कर दिया? How did Krishna do that? How dare Krishna do that?" Indra and his few ministers, they are like looking at Krishna. अरे, ये क्यों पूछना चाहिए कुछ कि क्या है ये? What is this? And not just that, Indra came to fight with Krishna. Just ये सब हुआ है उसके ही बाद, not some other time, that same day when Krishna is going back. And Krishna defeated Indra. And then in that section, Prabhupada writes, he writes this. Someone can read? Was self-interest on the part of Indra. He had offered his prayer, tipping down his head to the lotus feet of Krishna. But as soon as his purpose had been served, he became a different creature. That is the way of the dealings in materialistic men. Materialistic men are always interested in their own profit. For this purpose, they can offer any kind of respect to anyone, but when their personal interest is over, they are no longer friends. So we don't have to be this kind of devotee. That ठीक है, as long as things are going good, I am remembering Krishna, or when I'm in a difficult situation, then I am Krishna conscious. As soon as the equation is in my favor, then I am no longer seeing Krishna's hand. When we are in difficulty, we see, हाँ देखो वो भगवान ने कैसे किया. But otherwise, then we are not thinking. Exam के पहले सोचा, board exams are going on. So in such situations, we'll think. The day after the board exam, he will think, but others will be like. So we don't have to be that kind of devotee. This kind of worship, this kind of prayer is not at all appreciated by the Lord. He doesn't value it at all. So we have to practice this mood of being grateful, this mood of gratitude. Many times we think in our spiritual life what is not going right. Many times we think in our material life what is not going right. Many times we think in our relationships with devotees, what is not going right. He said this, she said that, it shouldn't have been. They favor that person more, they don't favor me. I have done this, they don't know what this person speaks behind their back, blah, 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 blah. Whereas we can think in the other way that, yeah, who am I to deserve all this, but still I have got because of him, because of her, because of this is the Lord's mercy. In our material life also, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, this didn't happen. Whereas we can think, okay, but this also happened, that also happened. And if we cultivate this kind of a mood, then we'll always be Krishna conscious. And if we cultivate that kind of a mood, even in the dress of devotees, we will just, be like karmis. We'll be complaint boxes. We'll be always dissatisfied with our spiritual life, with our material life. Material life, we don't really have to be overly satisfied. But with our spiritual life, we should see that yes, Krishna is, because Krishna is reciprocating with us. The problem is not that Krishna is not reciprocating, the problem is we're not able to see it. So we should feel grateful to the Lord. The Lord comes to perform pastimes, to show us, ये मेरे life में भी हो रहा है, not to that extent, but to this extent. So this 44th verse of this chapter is stating that pure devotees are not interested in the sarga, visarga, all these things. They are interested in these things. Ishanu Katha, Oshanam, Ashray. They are interested in these things. Because that is a window to see that and then see our life through that. मेरे life में भी ये हो रहा है. So we can all do this now in our mind, or you can write, or you can take your phone and write. You think of some things which, first hear me out before you start. Hear me out. Think of things for which we are grateful to Krishna. But do it in this way. One is, it should be specific. Thank you, Krishna, for everything. Not like that. Thank you for everything means, हाँ ठीक है, किया होगा आपने, मुझे अभी पता नहीं चल रहा है, पर हाँ ठीक है, thank you. Not like that. Thank you for nothing. Specific. Thank you for this, this, this. Something which is recent. First thing, specific. Second, it is recent. Thank you for giving me birth. Thank you 10 years ago for bringing me Krishna consciousness. That's also a thank you, definitely. Thank you for birth also. But now in this exercise, something which is recent. Today, last 2 hours ago, or yesterday, or 1 week back, something is recent. And then, why am I grateful to Krishna for it? Why? But why should be answered? Why am I grateful? And how is Krishna involved in that? How was Krishna involved? So, for example, yesterday I slept late. So, because yesterday I slept late and today was a busy day, so I was planning to get up late. But somehow or the other, at around 4:15, my sleep, I got up. And then I got up, I thought, okay, I'm not feeling that bad. I'm not so tired. So I came to the temple. I came to the temple, I could chant nicely. And so then I felt, thank you. Although मैंने alarm नहीं set किया था, thank you for somehow, getting me to get up. So specific, thank you for making me get up. Recent, this morning. Why? Because otherwise my chanting would have been very hopeless. But although it was still filled with challenges, but at least it was better because we chanted with the devotees in the temple at that time. And how? I didn't set any alarm. How did I get up? Normal days में तो alarm पे alarm मुश्किल से we drag ourselves out. But today, your hand was there. So it's small. अरे क्या है प्रभु, वो आपका पेट दर्द कर रहा होगा या आपका कुछ हो गया होगा, बैक दर्द होगा, उठ गए आप. That is one way to think about it. बहुत पानी पी लिया, नेचर्स कॉल आंसर करना था, नींद फिट गई, तो आप ठीक है, आप कर्मी तो नहीं हो, तो आप गए मंदिर. But that's not the way to think. To see Krishna's hand. Okay, Krishna, thank you. I had no plans today. My japa was supposed to be spaced out. Thank you. You allowed me to get up somehow. And then, because of which, why am I grateful? Because I could chant decently. And how is Krishna involved? Because there was no plan to get up. You did it. One more reason that today our Chetan Avatar Prabhu gave class. Thank you, Krishna, that I could hear that class. I learned so many things. Thank you that after the class I spent 1 hour with him talking, and I felt more Krishna conscious because of it. Obviously, I have come in devotional service. That is your mercy. So thank you so much. Reciprocation. That is expression of some gratitude. So, like that, something which is specific, something which is recent, answering the question of why am I feeling grateful to Krishna, and answering the question of how Krishna is involved in getting that done. Okay, you can do that. Now do it. These four questions these four things should be addressed in your expression of gratitude to Krishna. And it can be more than one also. Something very specific, something which has happened recently, answering the question why am I feeling grateful to Krishna? How did I benefit from that? And how was Krishna involved in it? And then on this last point, how was Krishna involved? Everything we can link to that. So that should not be very difficult. How Krishna was involved. When we just remove ourselves as a doer mentality, automatically Krishna is involved. Well, well, okay. Still writing? Okay. Right. Well, all right. So you feel more Krishna conscious by this simple thing. Now we performed this activity and we became conscious of this. But that thing existed even before this activity. Yes? There was something that happened yesterday also, something that happened last week also, something happened last month also, where we can express this gratitude. So this should be our mood in our spiritual life. Not finding the things that are not going right with my the only thing I should feel that is not going right. Can someone say what that is? The one thing I should feel that is not up to the mark in my spiritual life. My effort. My effort. That I should always feel I should be doing more. That I should feel. "हाँ, ठीक है, ठीक है, I'm not satisfied with this. I should do more. I should do more. I should do more. So I should be heavy on myself. I should do more. ये क्या है, इसे कैसे छपाओ ना, करो अच्छे से करो, कुछ सुनो चपा के बारे में, कुछ पढ़ो, करो अच्छे से, improve yourself. What is this? I have not even started reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. Where am I in the Bhagavatam? Why don't I become more serious with my reading? Let me do. What is this? I'm not performing services to the extent I should, or to the quality that I should. I should do it. I should do it. I should associate more with the devotees. That is fine. But हमारा कभी कभी उल्टा हो जाता है. For that we always justify. Be practical, be reasonable. ये हो गया, वो था, अभी ये चल रहा है, वो चल रहा है, वो चल रहा है. And जो दूसरे में, for which we should be grateful, we become very objective. She did this, he did that, that did it, temple this, that, this. So our mood should be different. Thank you for this. It helped me in this way. It was obviously your hand in this. That mood, if we have, then we will be Krishna conscious also, and we will be satisfied with our relationships with devotees also, and with Krishna. So this actually we can do regularly. It may obviously not come naturally. So sometimes these activities help. Every day before I sleep, or at whatever time in the day, I will remove 2 minutes and I will think of one thing which has recently happened for which I am grateful to Krishna. Small things. Small. It doesn't have to be some big miracle. Like this day before yesterday, we registered this land in Panvel. So obviously, we'll feel grateful to Krishna. Of course, people can think, "Mere mehnat se hua." Me and Hridaya Prabhu we went. So it was all his effort. He worked hard. He did effort. But he's not thinking that mere wajah se hua. I'm telling him also, great job, well done. But for those things, we can feel grateful. Thank you, Krishna, that you inspired this uh, very wealthy lady to donate this piece of land. Thank you for making our this devotee Hridaya Prabhu the instrument to do it. Why? Because now with this, so many of us can get engaged in your service by building this temple, by running this temple and all. And obviously, we are trying so many places this work because you inspired them. Therefore, it happened. So very easy to feel grateful to this. But small things in our everyday life. तू आज कुछ नहीं हुआ. सोचो. हाँ ठीक है ये this I can be grateful. Okay, great. So what? Yes, Krishna is having a personal relationship with me. Krishna is reciprocal, not just with Sudama, not just with Arjun. Like Bhima is thinking, only Arjun and Draupadi you answer. Mera kya hoga? Krishna is reciprocating with me. Simple thing. Today, 5 Maha Mantras I could chant attentively. Thank you, Krishna. I'm not even saying 5 malas. 5 Maha Mantras I could chant attentively. Today, after पूरा वो डस्ट हटा के सब करके वो लेयर्स ऑफ डस्ट हटा के मैंने अपना भागवतम खोला. The first thing we did when we went to after we registered the land, day before yesterday, we went there and then we read Bhagavatam. First activity we did on that land, we read Bhagavatam. So we opened the first verse. Verse was has a huge purport. Huge purport. We read that loudly and then we chanted Mangalacharan and then we came. So Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavatam 1.1.1 has started there. Now 1.1.2 kab hoga depends on how all of you help us. But so the hand of the Lord. Okay, thank you, Krishna. Today I read Bhagavatam. I'm supposed to read every day. You know how I am. At least today I read. Thank you. You inspired me. And because of that, why am I grateful? I read. I felt some. I was in touch with Prabhupada's purport, and it made me feel good. Thank you. We are going to Jaipur. Thank you, Krishna. When we come on Yatra, how many of you are coming? When we go on Yatra next week, Teen Bandhu Prabhu messaged me. I'm very excited to come to Jaipur. So when we go there are obviously things wherein facility wise there are chances to complain in a yatra. We will repeat this before the Badrinath Yatra because you'll have many more opportunities to complain over there, maybe. But to think that, oh Lord, you allowed me to come to your holy place. It was only because of these devotees. I'm feeling grateful to these devotees. I'm feeling grateful to you. Otherwise, I would have just been in Mumbai, and at least these 4 days, I'm getting an opportunity to hear more, associate with these great devotees, take your prasad, be in this spiritual atmosphere in the holy dham. I thank you. Or we could come today. Today, at least this 2 hours, we had some sangha together. Thank you, Krishna. Why? Because it made me connected to you. And out of all these Manushanam Savasreshu, I could come. And knowing me, I could still come. Knowing me, how I am, I could still come. Thank you. So, like this, every day we can do. If you really want to do, you can do this every day. You set a time. It will not take how long it took. 2 minutes it took to do this. So we can be, and then initially it may seem as a theoretical thing, but then gradually what will happen? It will become second nature. It will become second nature. That will this happen in the mind only. You say, thank you, Krishna. This happened. Thank you, Krishna. Like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, whenever he would make any plan, he would add two words: Krishna willing. Krishna willing. Guru Maharaj, today evening we have this program. What verse will you speak on? I will speak on this verse, Krishna willing. Guru Maharaj, tomorrow morning we have to take a train to go to here. Okay, we will go, Krishna willing. Everything, Krishna willing, Krishna willing, Krishna willing. Seeing what? Without Krishna's hand, it is not possible. And then when it happens, thank you, Krishna. Feel grateful. And in this way, this is what the Lord comes to show us. Through these pastimes, He comes to show us that He does reciprocate. And He is reciprocating with us. And the genuine emotion for that is, I thank you, Krishna. Even if there is a day where you've spaced out so badly that you can't think of anything, then also you can think, I got my food today, I'm alive today, all these things. Thank you, Krishna. वो जो महाप्रसाद गोविंदे हम, how many of you, okay, don't raise your hands, but ask yourselves, how many of you recite this every day? This is not supposed to be recited only on Saturday evening. वो मंदिर में जब प्रसाद मिलता है धाम में, उसके लिए खाली नहीं है महाप्रसाद गोविंदे. आप जो घर में भी ऑफर करते हो उसके लिए भी है. How many of us chant this before every meal? Don't raise your hands. Ask yourself. If you're not, do it. And then even if we are doing it, like abhi hum karenge now, after this class will end, Shantivardhan Prabhu will lead ecstatic kirtan. After that, there will be an explosion of sound. After the kirtan, where everyone is blah, 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 blah. The croaking of the frog, Prabhupada calls it. Just inviting death. Frog will the snake knows, हाँ इधर है मेरा खाना खा लेगा. Obviously, some of you would be doing Krishna Katha or asking how are you, all that. That's great. And then after that, we'll chant Mahaprasade Govinde. But how many of us will be thinking? I also don't think that yes, this prasad is given by Krishna, it's tasted by Krishna, it's Krishna's mercy. Thank you, Krishna. हम भी वो अगर हम वो प्रेयर भी चैंट करते हैं ना, हम उसी में एक्सटर्नल भी महाप्रसाद गोविंद शरीरा विद्याचार हरे कृष्णा डन. But thank you, Krishna. So even if we have nothing else, we've completely spaced out. I got a plate, I chanted pathetic rounds, वो भागवतम देखा भी नहीं उस डायरेक्शन में, किसी भक्त से बात नहीं किया, full एकदम hopeless day, material day. I was just making my material plans, and that's it. Thank you, Krishna. You gave me some food today. And then we should hope such days don't come very often. So like this, we can be grateful to the Lord, and in that way, we will. This is the reason Krishna comes. So this is the main reason Krishna appears, and we will be able to understand that in our life. So then after this verse, then there are two more verses after which Sukadev Goswami, Sutta Goswami says that I will tell you now about this. And the sages led by Shaunak Rishi ask him, What about Vidura and Uddhav's conversation? You please first, before you go to the next aspect, what was the third aspect of the Bhagavatam? Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, rightly said. Before you explain that in detail, you please tell me what was this conversation between Uddhav and Vidur? What happened? What was going on? Why did Vidur leave? Where did he go? What did he do? You please tell me about this. So that is how the second canto ends, and that is how the third canto begins. So next Saturday we will not have class because we'll be in Jaipur. The Saturday after that is just few days before Gaur Purnima. So we'll have Gaur Katha. And then after that, we will begin the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. If you read verses before these classes, you would have read the second canto. So even if you didn't, you do that for the third canto. Any questions? No questions. Anything online? कुछ किसी ने Zoom में पूछा क्या? Yes, Amish Ru. Hmm. 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 We don't because we left, so we don't know the others. Uh, there are some signs. So only those who are exalted devotees they will leave from here. Uh, when a person passes urine on stool at the time of death, then they leave from the lowest part of the body, either from the genitals or the anal part, and that's considered the lowest way of leaving. And then the higher you go, it is considered a pious life. So some people will leave from the eyes, some will leave from the mouth, some will leave like this. But the lower, that means the sinful life and sinful destination. So like that. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada writes about gratitude. When he sees that a conditioned soul is very serious about getting out of the clutches of the material influence, the Supreme Lord gives intelligence internally as super soul and externally as the spiritual master or as an incarnation of the personality of Godhead himself. He helps by speaking instructions such as Bhagavad Gita. The Lord is always seeking the opportunity to reclaim the fallen souls to his abode, the kingdom of God. We should always feel very much obliged to the personality of Godhead, for he is always anxious to bring us into the happy conditions of eternal life. There is no sufficient means to repay the personality of Godhead for his act of benediction. Therefore, we can simply feel gratitude and pray to the Lord with folded hands. Srila Prabhupada ki ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय जगतगुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे विभू